Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Filler, episode 27. I'm Ticketmaster, joined by...
Cool.
And Gamer 12.
Alright, so we got so much been playing, and there's been some breaking news from Microsoft about Xbox One, and we'll talk about it later. So, we'll do that. But right now, it's all about The Last of Us. And I gotta say, that game changed me. Because, before, games would, take me to the edge. They were I felt like... Oh. Am I doing the right thing, or how do I feel about when I'm killing people? It's like, this one took me over the edge, and I was like, no, someone has to die for this, and you deserve it. And I was like, I felt no remorse, and it was a dark place, and I felt great. Thanks, Naughty Dog, for doing that to me.
Wow.
Also, bonus points for letting me use a shiv, because I got that, and I was like, ooh, I didn't know I could use these in stealth attacks, and then, the fun began, and it was great.
I don't use shivs, man. I save them for the doors.
Oh, I saved them too, but just to know that I have them in case I ever need to use them.
Yeah, there have been some moments where I've been mobbed by a lot of clickers, and it's just like I got because the demo had the Shift Master skill already unlocked.
Yeah.
And so I had used it in the demo, and then when I found out I didn't have it and I had to upgrade it in the full game, I was thinking, oh man, that was really useful. I'm gonna need this. So I upgraded it to full, and then I have my shivs are pretty durable now. And there was one instance where I think I shived 4 or 5 clickers, maybe 3 times each, because they just kept grabbing me. Oh, shiv, escape, shiv, escape.
Was it that one moment where you're stuck in a room?
Yep. It got
yeah, I remember.
Like,
I know what you're talking about.
I should have bombed them or something.
Wait, tell me this. Can you place mines in the campaign? Or
yeah.
No? Oh, you can.
Just roll it, and then.
Yeah, I was trying to, but every time I would drop it, I didn't know you have to be crouched when you're just dropping it.
Uh-huh.
So I would drop it, then it would explode after 2 seconds. What am I doing wrong? Because the game never really tells you. It tells you for that split second. Oh, you could use this as a mine thing.
Yep.
I think when you're outside the school or something.
Yep.
But yeah, that sequence. Oh my god.
That was great. Okay, that's the other thing about this game. The peaks and valleys of the sequences that you go through in the game are just so good. Of you'll go through a segment of just so intense. I got to come down from this, and then you're in this pseudo open world where you're just scavenging and you can go up to stuff and get equipment, and there's nothing really happening, and then you're there with Ellie and just talking and everything's cool, but the crap you just went through, it's oh my god. and then it goes from just being all calm and no, we're going through talking about, and it picks up, it ramps up again. It's holy crap, oh my god, oh man, it was so just just so enthralling in this game.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy because it feels to me, I've been playing with a ton of interruptions, so probably not the best way to play the game, but it's just it reminds me most of Dead Space 1. When I played through Dead Space 1, it was just you have this constant sense of dread, something is going to happen at any moment. And essentially that's how The Last of Us has been feeling. And because I keep pausing, it doesn't get to linger, or I don't get to feel these sort of peaks and valleys. It's just every time I press pause, oh man, here we go again. And I don't know what's gonna happen. And it's just been I don't know how to describe the game that I like. The Walking Dead, Heavy Rain, these are not games that I would describe as being fun.
I agree.
And saying enjoyable sounds sort of weird, even though I guess I am willingly subjecting myself to it, and it's not something I would rather not be doing, but saying that I enjoy the game seems sort of weird now. So the vocabulary has to change in the future, because, Last of Us, before I started playing multiplayer, it's this game is not fun.
I know, I finished it, and I was I have to, watch a documentary on Netflix. I have to come down from this, because, dude... That was a trip.
I was okay, I'm done for the night. Wow, it's 11, but I need to watch cartoons or something.
Yeah,
just turn on Netflix. Yay, X-Men.
Like, I cannot just like go to sleep out of that because I don't want to have A, I don't want to have nightmares, and B, I'm not okay with what I just did.
I don't feel well.
And then, like, the other amazing thing it does to, like, for me is that after playing Walking Dead, I was like, okay, this, like, whole zombie apocalyptic whatever, there's, like, no more new ground to tread here. Nope. Like, the opening sequence was so good and just, wow. And then, like, after, like, it skips ahead in time, which just sets up all the other, like, great stuff that comes because of that, every time you're going through, like, a town and, like, it's completely empty, but to me, the, like, whole, like, scenery of just seeing, like, the shrubs and, like, the greenery return because people aren't there anymore, so it's, like, you have all these buildings that are, like, completely abandoned, but, like, there's also, like, all this, like, forestry that has, like, returned, so, like, the color palette is, like, completely varied, like, every chapter that you go through, and there's never, like, this, like, the settings are just so refreshing, like, every chapter is, like, man, this, like, looks so good all the way through. You have, like, these vast landscapes when you get to, like, certain open areas, and then just, like, creepy, dark places I don't want to be in with my flashlight, and I'm like, I'm scared. I don't want to continue, but I gotta push through because I gotta finish the game.
It's really good. Which actually kind of surprised me. Well, I don't know if it surprised me, but essentially I remember reading the reviews, and I think, did any of you read reviews before playing it?
Yeah,
I didn't.
I read
you did?
Freaking Polygon review.
Ah. Well, you know, I remember early on when they were talking about this game, they talked about two things that I thought were they were going to be really revolutionary. One was the AI. They talked about how, you know, a lot of AI games, it's like, oh, you know, this, like Ashley from Resident Evil 4, is like, battle starts and they just sort of hide or get in the way. And so when they talked about Ellie, it's like, yeah, we're trying to make, you know, all the AI really appear more intelligent and human, and, you know, she would actually dynamically do things and help you, and, you know, the people, the enemies that you fight are going to be really intelligent feeling also, because they'll know when they're outmatched and run away, and all these things like that.
Amazing.
You know, that part, when I heard how they had dealt with it in the end, it sort of disappointed me, because they talked about how in the stealth moments, the enemy AI basically just doesn't see your AI partners. And so when I heard that, I was like, well, yeah, I understand, you know, gameplay-wise, it would be really annoying if they did, and it was just like always your AI partner getting you into trouble. But on the other hand, it felt sort of like a letdown. I was like, oh, the design goal was this, to make this totally believable AI when you see everything that does. And then, you know, the actual outcome was that, well, we couldn't really do it, so in order to make the gameplay good, we had to make this concession where the enemies just don't see your partners. So that was one thing. The other thing they talked about was they wanted to make it so that you could identify where people were based on sound. And they talked about, you know, how sounds coming from outside of the room that you're in the hallway, you can sort of tell positionally where they are just by listening. And in the end, I guess they couldn't really figure that out either, because now we have listen mode, which is sort of this visual way to tell where people are based on sound. And it's sort of ironic in the story sense, because that means that Joel has basically the same ability as the clickers. He sees with sound.
Yeah.
But, well, I don't know. So, Gamer, did you play it without listen mode?
Yeah, I turned it off from the
Oh,
beginning.
okay.
Yeah.
So, were you able to tell where people were? Because, like, after
Pretty much.
playing it, really?
It's pretty much remember when you get to corner, Joel leans out a little bit, like you get his view, like, kind of switches a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I used the entire time.
So it was, like, basically based on sight?
Yeah, all sight. And I was playing with headphones, like, I couldn't hear footsteps that much. Like, it wasn't loud enough for me to identify, oh, the guy's on my left, so I should steer clear. Like, that was for the humans, but for infected, I could hear them all the time. Like, because they're like,
they're being all crazy the whole
Yeah.
time. Yeah, like, well, you know, that was my impression before I got the game. It was all from the reviews, and I thought, oh man, you know, if critiquing a game is based on how well they they met the goals of the design, then missing those two things feels like a big sort of miss to me. But actually playing the game, the listening part, I guess they did do a lot of work on it, because people do sound different when they're outside of the room that you're in.
Yeah.
And when you're outside, just, in the open. So it seems like they had tried, and maybe in the end it just came down to, well, not everyone has surround sound. Well, people aren't always going to be playing in the ideal situation. How do we help those people know what's going on in the environment around them? And so listen mode came from that. And it's like, yeah. So, both concessions, I think they do make the game more enjoyable, I guess. But, yeah, little bit disappointed there.
Yeah, I thought it was like weird whenever I'd be sneaking by and like the AI enemies could like clearly see my AI partner, but they wouldn't react to it. I was like, it's kind of it's like at first I was like whatever, but I got used to it. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's only during stealth, right? They don't see her during stealth.
Yeah.
But during action, like when you're actually in a gunfight, they actually see them, don't
Right.
they? Or no?
Yeah. Or well, they do react to them.
Yeah.
So because they attack them, and I'm not sure if it's, I don't know, maybe they switch it on, suddenly visible.
Yeah. Has there been any other game that has an AI partner in a stealth mechanic way? Because every time we play like AI characters, it's always in an action-based setting where it's like Resident Evil 6 or or some other game.
Actually, it's funny because Star Trek actually does have that, and that was one of the things that really bugged me with Star Trek was that, I was playing as Spock and Kirk would just be out there, and then they wouldn't even see him, or it felt random. Actually, no, yeah, they never saw him. They saw other stuff that I did, which is a totally different thing, but yeah, they did the exact same thing where it's like, your AI partner is just invisible, essentially.
And for me, that is a better way to address, it's very difficult to program a stealth AI character.
Right.
Because the other option would just be, have a button to just tell them to, stay here, I'll go ahead. Which is kind of, sort of like change the dynamic where you want the AI characters, some instances where you want them to help you out. Like, there were some moments in the game where I freaking ran out of ammo, and as soon as the AI character heard the clicking, he starts going for the enemy. It's like, thank God. Whereas like,
it is hard. And that's why it was really exciting when I heard it back then. It was just
true.
Oh wow, they're gonna do this? Like, man, when this comes out, it's gonna come out at the same time as or a little after BioShock, which also has an AI partner thing. It's like, it's gonna be really cool to see, who did the better AI partner implementation.
But man, BioShock, it was a worse implementation in my eyes, because she didn't do anything in battle. She did nothing. She just stood there.
Wow. Actually, I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what happens. She's only there to activate certain things in the space. That's all she does. She doesn't pick up a gun or anything. She just stands there. And she too is invisible to the other enemies.
I'm trying to remember. Uncharted 2 and 3 had certain stealth elements or component situations in them.
Yeah.
And I don't remember actually. I guess they were less complicated. The Last of Us actually gives you options as to how you want to stealthily take out people, because the patrol paths and stuff are they're more complex looking, and you have to really study them to figure it out. Yeah. But because of that openness, it makes it harder. Whereas I think in Uncharted, the stealth portions were just much more straightforward. Like, if you did it this one certain way, you could stealth that guy, and somehow your partner was just never really involved. I don't know. Can't remember if they did it there.
There were a lot of stealth moments in Uncharted 2, though, because there was the one at I guess early in the game where they're going on that.
Yeah, the museum.
But I don't think there was a lot of other ones that they would have done. Because otherwise, I think like the AR partner just kind of like follows a path that they're supposed to be going on.
Yeah.
And then everything is pretty much just up to you. So,
that's how it worked.
RPG Mania goes 5, everybody. Woo!
Oh,
hello.
Yeah, hi, by the way. Here.
Well, I guess the other thing in relation to Last of Us reviews was that after playing the multiplayer, I was very surprised to see that none of the reviews really talked about it. You know, a lot of the reviews just said, the multiplayer is surprisingly good. And that was basically it. You know, that was the same sentiment, and it was like that one sentence, maybe not those words, in all of the reviews. Like, none of them talked really about multiplayer. And it's like, wow, that, having played it now, that is a disservice to the multiplayer, I think. The multiplayer is really good. I think, you know, if you're the type of person who says that games have to be fun to be good, the single player is the not fun part, and the multiplayer is the fun part, and then you have a good game here.
Yeah, good game here, and every other game is a terrible game.
That's so true.
But it's really clever. It's you know, you would expect sort of the standard now, which is what Modern Warfare established with the perks and the gun unlock system, and it has that. But they've also added this sort of people call it like the meta layer of the game, and essentially what it is the games are 4-on-4, but every player in the fiction is sort of the leader of their own survivor group. And you have to go out. So, like, the stakes in every multiplayer match are basically you are out there fighting for your group. You need to get supplies, otherwise they'll go hungry, or they'll get sick, or they'll die, or, you know, people will leave. I don't know what happens, actually, because I haven't... I've been playing well, and I think it's because I feel like in a lot of multiplayer games, like Call of Duty, for example, you feel like you don't necessarily have to play well in every game. You feel like you can just play a lot, and eventually you will unlock everything. But with The Last of Us, it feels like you do have to play well. One, because there's sort of this fictional sense that I am responsible for these people. I need to get this many supplies in this multiplayer match, otherwise some of them will go hungry, or some of them will die, or something bad will happen to them. So, you know, there's this sort of fictional layer that makes me feel like I need to do good in this game. But I think there's also built into the system, into the unlock system, where you feel like you have to do well. And I'm not really sure, because I haven't played through the entire 12-week story yet. But it seems like some of the unlocks are associated with how many people you get to join your survivor group. And you only have, you only have 12 weeks to do it. So that's sort of like your leveling system, you know, 1 to, I don't know what it's Call of Duty now, 60 something? But, yeah, this is like, you have 12 weeks to get as many survivors as you can. And if you get up to a certain number by 12 weeks, you will unlock these things that you couldn't unlock in any other way. And it's just like, this is really... It's sort of an evolution on this perk system. On the one hand, I don't know, yeah, I think that incentive thing makes a big difference to me. It just feels like, wow, you know, every game I feel like I have to do well, and I'm hoping that everyone on my team feels like that too, because of this system in place. And that way you don't have as many games where it's just like, oh, you know, 2 guys are just messing around or something. It seems like everyone is kind of trying.
But I don't know. The
you don't think so?
Trying to get the trophies though, it's gonna be goddamn irritating, because surviving the 12 weeks is gonna be, my heart will be pumping every time I go into a match. Like, because the game will pump out these missions for you where, oh, there's a marauder attack coming up. Prepare your clan to survive the attack, or else 50% of your clan will be taken by them.
Yep.
So you have to choose. There's like 3 dozen mission types that you have to choose from, that you have to complete within 3 matches in order to there's like a percentage on how many, like, let's say I choose the Shiv as executions. If I do one Shiv execution, 5% will be ready for the attack. If I do 2, 10%, 3, 15, like so and so on. So if I only get 1, 5% will be ready, and there's a chance that the hunter attack will be successful and 50% of my clan will be taken. And that is very stressful. That is stressful because sometimes you want that Amara attack to happen, because if your clan gets too many people, like you say if you have like 80 to 100 people in your clan, the more supplies you have to gain per game.
But see, that's why it's cool. I felt like you have to do better and better, which is sort of like the progression that you want. If you're trying to master a game, you want to do a little bit better every single time. And this is like, wow, this is
sometimes you don't want to do better
game.
though, because like sometimes you want your clan to fail so that you won't have to get as many supplies per game to support your clan. Like let's say I had 66. It's kind of dark, but it's like I had 66 people in my clan. I couldn't do my mission because I picked the wrong ones. Like kill down 6 people is the minimum with your 9mm pistol. I only got 4, so they got taken. I was like, oh, thank God! I don't have to get like probably 3 kills in a match to just get enough supplies to support my clan. Because the point of the 12 weeks is you just want to survive 12 weeks. You don't want to be, I want to max out my clan unless you're like the best of the best or something. But it's like you want to just survive the 12 weeks, get the trophy, and then like, okay, thank God. Now I can just like have fun with this game.
I don't know about that. Like I like the pressure.
Oh man, pressure is too much for me. Like playing survivor mode is the most tense thing in the world. It's like I equated to like Counter-Strike, because like it's one life, so it's like you have to like get, and plus supplies reset every round, so it's like you can't really hoard shit, hoard supplies. So you have to use the supplies on that very round, or else they'll just go away. But you get to routine the parts, which you could spend on armor and weapon upgrades. But it's like other than that, it's like every life counts. Like your tactics, you're like, oh, guys in the because there's no. But the only thing I don't like is like there's no compass, so you can't say, oh, the guy's north of us, the guy's west of me, the guy's east of you. So you can't really tell your teammates if they're like separated, because like most of the time you have to stay with your group, because if you're not staying with your group, you're pretty much just like dead on spot. Like I don't know. It is very stressful. My heart's pumping every time we play Survivor. Cause like when we play Respawn match, like it's all good fun. Like Survivor match, like, my heart's like beating like rapidly. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I guess not to have Gamer on your squad if you're ever in an actual apocalypse or something.
I mean, I guess we've had different multiplayer experiences recently, because I've been playing a lot of StarCraft and playing it one-on-one, and so I remember initially it's like, oh man, it was very difficult to handle. I mean, after every game, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm about to die. But after a while, it's like, well, whatever, we're just playing, and that's kind of it, and I guess it's sort of been like this resistance training to that, because now when I play Survivor, I like that. One of the things that I thought was sort of broken with Assassin's Creed multiplayer is that people often will just ignore all the systems, and then it just becomes a running around and shanking people that you see running around. And it's just like everyone is running around, and there just happens to be all these AI characters, but they don't mean anything because no one's doing any of the blending, no one's doing any of the hiding. Everyone's just running around.
It's true. And people are just terrible at that multiplayer.
Like The Last of Us, it feels really, I don't know, mechanically everything just fits so well with the single player game. You got choices you have to make, and because like the parts that you get, which are basically, I guess, they're the equivalent of XP in other games. Or no, I guess it's not.
No, the parts turn into supplies, which is your XP. Yeah.
Right. So like the parts are what you accumulate, so like points, and then those get converted into supplies, and then some of those supplies are subtracted to keep your survivor group alive, and then whatever's left is your XP, basically. And so, in the match while you're playing it, you can buy armor and gun upgrades, and it's like there's this choice, like, do I use these parts to buy upgrades and stuff so that maybe I'll win and get more parts as my score in the end?
Oh, Tropical, I heard that was I heard anything you accumulate, anything you spend, it'll still be whatever the total amount you gain in that match.
Oh, really?
So you can spend as much as you want. It's like it still won't affect the daily supplies thing.
Never mind.
I was also thinking, I was like, oh my god, I want to spend the parts because I want some supplies. Like,
I was wondering, like, all these people are just buying armor. They're just gonna let their survivor group die so that they can wear armor out here.
That armor, man, seriously, pain in the ass.
It's so annoying. But yeah, like I really like how survivor mode and to a lesser extent, like the SOCOM games were like this, where people aren't just running out into the open and being all stupid because you just have that one life. So it feels very tactical. And I think what was the game? I think God of War Ascension. People sort of say, oh, it's just you run up and you button mash and see who lives. And it's like, well, if it's such a crapshoot, then obviously that is a bad strategy. In God of War Ascension, you don't go and fight people one-on-one if you can help it. You try to run away and have backup, and that's how you guarantee that you win. And, like, The Last of Us is kind of like that, too. One-on-one, two people shooting at each other, it's hard to tell who's going to win, even if one guy shot first, because the aiming is sort of, different than what you're used to, and the weapon damage and, like, the armor and all these things. So it's like you really have to tactically approach every situation. Maybe you bring a bomb, or you bring all your guys with you, or like I've been playing the support role a lot, so I run around and I'm just like healing people as they're fighting, and I'll just like be bandaging them from behind, and I don't know, it feels very different. Yes, I suppose it is high pressure, but it is so awesome when you win.
Yeah, like especially that one match we had where it was like we were down like 2 rounds and then we came back. Like it was weird because the other team was winning and then 2 other people disconnected.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's going on here? We're losing, but it was like we have a chance now. And it was cool. Like we were cornering the enemies. Like, oh, he's right there. Smoke him. Throw a bomb. Oh, he's flanked. Shoot him. Like, oh man, it was fantastic.
It's really cool.
But that's the thing, it only works if your teammates have mics. Like, if you're playing with randoms and they're all micless, nothing is going to work. It's like because you're just spouting nonsense and you're not getting feedback from people. It's like, so what's going to happen here, guys? Like,
That's a problem in a lot of multiplayers, though, not just that one. If you're not able to coordinate, it's a problem.
It matters a lot more, I think, in this one.
Yeah.
And to a lesser extent, I think I would say the same about God of War Ascension. But this one, when you're playing with mics, it is really, really awesome. And when you're not playing with mics, I would suggest you be a follower. So, from my experience, usually the match starts, and then like 2 guys will go off in one direction, and 1 guy will go off in the other direction, and I'll just be like, well, I'm gonna follow the 2 guys, because that gives us a better chance if there's 3, and essentially
numbers.
1 guy is like, you sacrificed yourself. You should have. Everyone should have gone together. And sure enough, oftentimes that 1 guy will get downed, and we'll all be over here. And it's like, well, nothing we can do. He's way over there. At least he's let us know that there are bad guys over there.
Because like 2 against 1, the 1 will always go down. Yeah. Unless he's really crafty with his movement. Like, I'm doing the dance. Like, when the guy's shooting with a pistol, I do, like, the shifting left and right. And he will miss, like, 50% of the time. And I will be able not to shoot him because I'm doing that dance. Like, so he just goes up to me and just melees the shit out of me. It's like, oh, that was a terrible strategy. But at least it worked because, like, he was able to give off his, because every time they shoot, unless it's a silence weapon, they give off their position on the map.
Yep.
So that's great for the other people. It's like, oh my god, he's getting shot there.
I think my favorite moment so far has been one match. I was the last man standing, and there was 3 of them left. And I was like, oh man, I don't know what to do. And I opened one of the supply chests, and there was like 2 bombs in there and like a bunch of other stuff. Like, oh, this is awesome. So I took both bombs, and I climbed into a building, and I just like dropped one at the window where I climbed in. And then I sort of hid in another area. And of course they're looking for me. One guy jumps in, and immediately he just dies. So he's just gone. It's like, oh, that was so awesome. And then I was like, how can I do it again? Because they're closing on me, and time is sort of running out. So I just laid the bomb down, and I used the fact that if you start running, you show up on radar. And so like I dropped it, and then I started running, and then I saw them coming. It's like, oh, this is so cool! They're coming. I did not make it, but
well, that's
I got
a very disappointing story.
The 3. Yeah,
I was expecting a different outcome to that story. Way to disappoint me, Tropical.
It's really cool. It's like you're using the exact same systems as in single player, except that you're fooling real people. Like, they didn't have to go for it. They were ahead. You know, time was running out. They just wait out the clock and they win. But no, they were just like, no, we're gonna kill this guy.
Well, what if they want to get their mission done? Like, I gotta get these execution. Where's this dude?
So a tip to people: if you play the support class, it is really easy to complete healing missions. Because I don't know, it's just simple. You follow one of your teammates around, and he'll be fighting, and, you know, you kind of help out, but every time he's injured, you just stand there and hold down X, and you'll just continuously heal the guy. It's like 10 health every 2 seconds.
Is that one of the perks?
Yeah, it's a first aid training, I think. You need to have level 2 in order to heal people.
Oh, okay.
Level 1 is just like, you use med kits faster. But yeah, like, you do that, and you know, in 3 days, I needed 15 heals, and I had, it was like 47 or something at the end. It was like, that was 3 games. And they were all survivors, so, you know, it wasn't like I was respawning and then healing lots of people. No, it was 3 survivor games. It was, yeah, highly recommended. The Last of Us multiplayer, so cool.
I refuse.
So fun. RPG will be the guy we sacrifice.
Exactly why I don't have the game.
Probably.
You guys can't be trusted.
RPG will go off on his own because he doesn't trust us, and then, you know, we already know what happens to that guy.
I know how to make deals.
So, RPG, what have you been playing?
Oh, you know, stuff. I've been playing a lot of Devil Survivor 2 because I started watching the anime, and I wanted to make sure I got farther before I finished it, just in case, because they have a tendency to be all spoilery and stuff. So I've been playing through that for the past few days and whatnot. Other than that, I started playing XCOM too because I got that free PSN trial thing, PS Plus thing. So
from home.
Yeah, so I've been using that, and I just started playing XCOM. So I've been doing that. I'm not too fond of the fact that resources are so scarce in that game, though. It's kind of just like, why is it so hard to get money around here? It's like, I don't know, but yeah, that's a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. I was using Home to get the free Plus thing, and then I couldn't even redeem it. So if you're somebody who wants to just watch my video, because I couldn't even use the code. It's like, it's not working. I was like, oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Maybe you did.
I was like, whatever, I don't care, so.
Gamer, could you use yours?
I haven't used mine yet.
Oh, okay. Because I heard from somewhere that it's only for new subscribers. Which is weird, though, because, basically everyone has had... I mean, if you've had the PS3 for a while, everyone has had that 1 month of PlayStation Plus that they gave free as the apology.
I didn't get it.
For the hack and all that. Oh, you didn't get that?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I got that one.
I don't think they gave it out to everybody.
No, they did. Everyone.
Oh yeah, for the hack they gave it to everyone.
Well, I didn't.
Everyone
Get
had a
it.
month.
You didn't get your games, your free
Either
games?
that or I didn't like. Or I
You didn't know how
redeemed it,
to
didn't
redeem
realize it or something.
Oh.
Who knows? Maybe I did.
Yeah, it was an email, wasn't it? It wasn't just a PSN message, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, like, when I was using Home, because, like, since I never use it, I was using it for the first time in, like, years, and, like, to just see how, like, far it's come, and, like, how much more smoother of an interface, and, like, how things, like, aren't, like, so loading, like, so long, and it takes forever to load and everything, but then, like, it's also just funny just, like, to see the avatars, because I was using it, and then all of a sudden there's, like, a unicorn runs by, and I was like, what? And then, like, right behind it is, like, some mummy, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, I didn't see any.
And then
cool
I was, like,
avatars
taking
that
the
I was
quizzes,
there.
and people had their avatars in, like, the dance animation, but they're, like, using avatars that are, like, really ridiculously, or, like, just really, like, naughty, like, this half-naked woman is just, like, dancing, and I'm trying to concentrate on this quiz, and I'm like, I am trying to focus here. This is not helping. Even though the questions were easy. But yeah, I recorded the whole thing on my YouTube and put it up, so yeah.
When I was in there, everybody just had like normal avatars, but the load times were really long. But just like everything was relatively normal in there, so I didn't get to see any cool avatars. That makes me sad.
Well, you could tell from the avatars like who's been paying up and
Yeah.
who's not.
Yeah. Some of those are expensive.
Yeah, I only went in there for the free PlayStation Plus, so yeah.
And it was funny because I went back to my personal space after it unlocked everything, and it was exactly the same as it was before I deleted it. And I was like, oh, it's exactly the same. That's pretty cool. My Tekken Arcade was still in there. I was like, oh man, that's pretty funny. And I was looking through all like the new outfits I'd unlocked through trophies and stuff, so that was fun.
Yeah. Oh,
And I was like, well, and I was looking at the file size of Home, and I was like, oh, it's actually like not that big anymore, so I'll just leave it on here in case there's any more free stuff. So,
yeah, I had to re-download it because I must have deleted it or something before. So
It was interesting because it felt like with all the rewards, and it's like they were trying to get sort of core gamers back into Home.
Mm-hmm.
But then the actual setup and like the quests and stuff that you had to do, they were just so thrown together almost that I was just like, who is this appealing to? Like, you just want us to jump through hoops to get this free stuff that everyone can get if they just waste an hour of their time.
Basically.
well, it was like an hour of like just game PR of maybe stuff you hadn't heard of though. So it's like you're like, well, I guess if you're paying attention.
Not really, because I mean,
I was like looking at everything and reading everything. So
because the only game that I had to go, or the only game I had to go see that I wasn't like familiar with was that one with the suits or something. I forgot the name of the game. See, it wasn't even that good in marketing. I don't remember what it was called. But it was like some kind of.
Well, I didn't know there was an Armored Core game coming out for PS3. I was like, oh, this is
How
this
did
is
you
PS3.
not know that? I've been talking about it for the past few months.
Oh, well, you know, if it wasn't at E3, so I didn't care. Or I didn't see any coverage of it, so.
But yeah, it's because I was trying to go around the six. I thought, okay, maybe they have like trailers and stuff. But it's like, you know what? I really only want the free subscription thing. So I'm not even gonna. I don't really care about the rest of this stuff. So I just, yeah, that's what.
Yeah, because I was looking at the Armored Core kiosk. I was like, oh, is this on Vita? Because I didn't know there's an Armored Core game coming out. Then I saw like it was like a little PS3 or the little model, and I was like, oh, because I was in the PlayStation. Well, of course the PlayStation booth, but like the PS3 area. I was like, oh, it's on PS3. I didn't know that. So.
It's supposed to come out in September or something like that.
So I wonder if Home is going to make the transition to PlayStation 4.
I hope not.
I mean, it's sort of weird right now because it's so limited. You know, like I sort of liked the virtual E3 booths from years past in that they had trailers and things, and there was like videos that you could watch. Whereas now it was almost entirely sort of PowerPoint slideshows.
And how annoying was it when you had to like go every 2 screenshots to get the text?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Like,
dumb. And that's the game I was talking about. It was
style.
It was like the one where it's like you have like a picture of the environment, then you scroll to the next one, and that's when they like explain stuff. And it's like, why is this a thing? Why can't this all just be like fitted on one card? This is so stupid.
And of course, there's like there's a mission where you have to look at all the pictures in the kiosk. Like, oh, that was annoying.
For what?
For mission
To
complete.
the end.
And you get like you get a suit or something.
Oh, that must have been like a later one then. Like, it's,
Yep.
you only had to do like 3 to get to the subscription, and that's
Yeah.
where I stopped. Like, there was no reason for me to go on after this. I'm like, I'm not gonna.
there are some like
Oh, I can't
free
do this
stuff.
stuff.
Like there was that PS Mobile stuff, so you could have
the
download
PlayStation
games.
mobile games.
Yeah, on your Vita. So
Yeah, didn't care. It's like, I was just like, I got what I needed. I'm outie. Because, I mean, I never, like, use home, so unlocking any of the costumes and stuff just seemed pointless to me. So I was like, why am I even going to go through the trouble of staying here with this long load times and all this crap? I was like, yeah, I got what I needed. I'm out of here. So that's all that happened.
I thought it was cool that you could like walk up to the little things and take pictures by them, like the or the Lee and Clementine. I was like, oh, Lee and Clementine. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, this is so cool. So yeah, I take a picture of that.
Booth statues, or I don't know.
Yeah, the little whatever you call them.
Yeah, it feels like that. I think there's some sort of policy. You can every room can only have a certain amount of memory. I think it's like 40 megs or something like that.
Jesus.
So I don't know, what would it be like on PlayStation 4? Because I think some of the things that would be awesome to do with core gaming properties are very limited in home as it currently is. And I think, there were less trailers because those take a lot of memory. And then, the sound effects were sort of very basic. You walk through an area where they're talking about a shooting game, and you just hear these very generic gunshot sounds. And it's like, well, I've heard these in other parts of home. Why couldn't they have used, the gunshot sounds from Killzone, which are very distinctive? Or, why does the fighting game area sound like every other punch sound that I've heard on PlayStation Home? And yeah, I think it's all the memory restrictions, and I'm wondering, would home be better on the PlayStation 4?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there would be more stuff in it. I'm not sure if better is the appropriate term for it. It's still going to be home.
But also, it'll be also at the cost of like how much data I'm gonna have to download to get the fidelity of increased fidelity. Because right now it only takes me a couple minutes to download whatever is in that space. If you had to increase the amount of data I have to download just to look at the space, like that would be kind of crazy.
Well, unless it becomes like a totally streaming thing, like home exists entirely on the servers, and you stream video of it. It would be like online or Gaikai.
Yeah, just stop trying to make home better. It's still home. Just leave it. Let it stay on the PS3 and die, and then let us never speak of it again.
Wasn't there supposed to be like a Microsoft equivalent or something?
Oh yeah, there was actually. I remember that. It was like something live, and like you could put your avatars in there and have like video chats or whatever. But I guess it never came through. Cause I remember covering that one year.
Mm.
I don't remember what it's called though. It's top of my head. I'll have to look it up.
Funny how times have changed.
Did either of you have any save issues with The Last of Us?
Nope.
Like when it first came out, because I had the issue where like my save effed on the first day from the autosave thing, and I didn't realize it until 4 hours had passed. Because I left it on overnight to download, and then I went straight into playing it when I woke up, and then I couldn't save before I went to work, and I was like, it's not letting me save, and I was like, oh, it's autosaving, so I'll just whatever, and then I turned it off, and I turned it back on, and then my game was not at where it was left, and I was like, oh, I have to start all over again. So that's
no.
Yeah, I was outside, actually picking up my copy when I heard the news. I was like, well, obviously I am not going to be affected by this because I'm outside. And by the time I got back home, it was like, yeah, it's been fixed for about an hour. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a good thing. That at least I didn't go to a midnight launch. I did have a problem with, or no, I guess I didn't. No, yeah, my problem has only been the interruptions to game time and my desire to show people the beginning of the game, which meant that I saw the beginning 3 times in the first 4 days.
So
why?
Let me ask this: did you guys tear up in that scene?
I didn't tear up, but I got sad.
Okay. I don't know if it's like low T or something, but like I was like getting kind of teary eyed, don't I? Right, so that scene was like, oh god damn.
Kind of. I mean, because it was in hindsight, it was very predictable.
Oh yeah, very predictable.
And yet it was like
most
wow.
most of the scenes in Last of Us, except for like the later half, is pretty much predictable. But it's like the way they put it into you is like
I think what it was she was not crying until her dad ran over her. And then she just got really scared. It's sort of like how kids always behave. They're sort of in shock, and then the moment someone comes over and is like, "Oh, are you okay?" Then it's like, "Oh my gosh, something bad happened to me." And her freak out, the way that they showed it, like, "Oh man."
Yeah, I didn't like
that. It was a really tearjerker.
I did not like that gurgling. That sounds very very hard to hear. It's like, oh god. It's like watching that scene from Saving Private Ryan when the guy's knife is going deep into the guy's chest. Like, oh god, I have to hear that sound.
Why is it happening so slowly?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just there was just so many cool parts about that scene that after I showed it to some people, I was like, well, it seems that only gamers appreciate this sort of stuff. Like, I guess, yeah, we're not really giving anything away. RPG. It's like when you're in the car and you want to look around, how the character actually moves in the car.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow, that is a neat little detail. And then like the animation as sort of a groggy person's animations as they're walking around the house, I was like, wow, that looks so real. Like, that is exactly what sleepy people look like. And I was like, man, this house, we're never going to see this place again, and yet it is so fully realized.
Oh man, that's the other thing. The environments are so detailed.
Yeah.
Just so good.
Everything is handcrafted. There was like,
I know.
There's no one space that looks the same. It's crazy. I have no idea how much time went to just crafting those spaces like that.
But I guess that's what the game is in a lot of what's the word? Situations, because you're not really doing much in a lot of the situations. You're just sort of, it's like a tour through this beautiful digital showcase that they've created.
It was like there's an office space where it's like there's pictures and like every picture is different on each desk. Like that's because like usually when you play a game, they have the same shit on each desk, like same computer screen, no same pictures of any family members.
Newspapers on the ground.
Like when you go to a kid's room, each kid's room is different. Like, or when in this certain area, it was like each room. I'll just say it. University. Each dorm room is different.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Oh god. Oh wait, have you?
I'm not there.
No, but I'm just talking about like how everything has its like place and like oh my god.
Yeah.
It feels like BioShock all over again. It's like everything is crafted.
It's pretty crazy.
I also like how they have the like little notes, like Resident Evil style, how they have like the logs of like other survivors that have come before you, and like you pick it up and you can like read and be like, this is what happened to this person. And like sometimes it's like it's like the just like the range of like how bad to how like not so bad it is when you read it. It's like, well, obviously that turned out to be that person, or oh well, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, there's a part where you find a lot of them written by sort of the same group of people.
Oh yeah, that was great.
It's like, yes.
And you're like, what happened to them?
I want to meet this guy, or maybe it's a lady. I don't know. And
Did you?
It's like you ever do that. It's like you'd actually ever be like reading a bunch of like those, and then find a like fellow survivor, and then like see if that ever happened. And then like at that point, I was like, oh man, I gotta see. I just had to find out what happened to this person after reading all these and like seeing their setup and like how they were holding out this whole time.
Did you find the note after you get out of that area?
Yo.
Oh yeah, that's
like
so sad.
Man.
Crazy how everything went wrong because of this one simple mistake. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Doors unlocked. Whoops. It's like, really?
But do you find it weird that you don't come across any other survivors unless they're a hostile?
Yeah, that was kind
That
of
was
annoying.
kinda
But
weird.
there's that part in that chapter though in Fall when you do, but
Yeah.
it doesn't last that long. Actually, oh yeah, that's a great part of that part when I can't say what happens, but man, like what went down? It's like what the F, dude?
That was a.
It was good because like it was so like realistic of like what would happen. It's like sorry, dude, and then like it's like well in that case I might do that too, but it's like but like I'm angry. It's like oh, it was so good. So you just did that to me after that, but then like I probably would do that to you, but it's like oh, so I can't be that angry, but I am. It's like oh, so good.
Man.
That was so great. Because in like that part when like you get back to him, it's like oh, how's this gonna end up? It's like Joe, what are you doing?
Spoiler. That's a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler because I didn't say what happened, but man, that's great.
Wow.
All the cutscenes are so good. Like I was on pins and needles, like so much tension. Like every cutscene, I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? Just so good.
Wow. This game.
So what is it game of the year? Because I don't think there's anything else that's gonna be like up to it.
Yeah.
It
remaining.
is to me like so far. It's like, but there's still since there's a Walking Dead game coming out that's next.
Yeah, it's only one episode.
GTA 5 and Gran Turismo 6 isn't gonna touch it. So.
Like
oh wait, Beyond Two Souls maybe, but yeah.
Beyond looks rough, dude. Oh my
I
God.
don't think we can get to the whole. See, like this game like made me have the epiphany of like why I went from like hating zombie games to like liking the ones that like do what they do good. It's just like it gets at the core of like the human experience of like this is what it is to survive, man. When you're out there and like it's so and, like since it's such a part of the game when like you're scavenging for supplies and like triangle, I got to get everything for. So good. Just I felt like a hoarder, but like I didn't feel like a hoarder because like if I was in the situation, I'd totally be doing that and have like a giant backpack of supplies too. And it just captures that feel so well, especially when you're in combat and you need to craft something. And it's like, oh, dude, I got to go into the menu. I hope nothing bad happens.
You know, so that going into the backpack sort of recreates that thing in Zombie U where it's like, oh, you're going to your backpack, you have to look it down at the screen. So
yeah.
It's like you don't really need a second screen for this type of situation.
Yeah.
Like Wii U, they just they don't. They made another case where you don't really need a Wii U, so that's
yeah. It's amazing how far games have come. We went from, like Mario and Donkey Kong 64, where you're just like gathering things because they told you to The Last of Us, where you're gathering things because you feel like you really need them and they can help you out.
To me, it like kind of the game isn't itself survival horror, but it takes those survival like elements just to the extreme, like so well, like better than anything else in that genre. It's just like you have to look for supplies, and like you'll be doing it at every chance you have, you will be looking for stuff because it's like I don't have any bullets, I don't have any crafting items, like I am effed. I need to like I'm just gonna like look for stuff, and then like the whole time you're looking for stuff, like well, at least me personally, I was like, okay, I hope I don't get attacked by hunters when I'm looking for this. Or I hope I don't get like, even though like I was in like a safe area, like the whole time just from like Dead Space, I was like having PTSD of like any moment something could jump out and attack me. So I don't feel safe at all ever like in this game.
Yeah.
It just made it that much more insane. Like I'm crouch walking when I don't need to be crouch walking in the open. Like if you say, but I don't trust this game because I don't trust game developers. They want to f with you. So and yeah, so good.
Oh, what's great? It's like all the supplies. They are useful. It's not like Bioshock Infinite where you're picking up apples and brownies and cookies and like, it's like I don't need most of this stuff. Like, just give me what I need.
Yeah.
That's why it's nice.
Really clever.
Oh, go ahead.
With how like the icon shows scissors, but it's actually just any sharp things. Like you get cans of nails, and they're under scissors, and it's like they managed to make it feel like there's a lot of different stuff that you can collect, even though when you're actually in the system of crafting and all that, it all falls under these few categories. And it's like, that's cool.
I also love like when you open like a drawer or something. Sometimes it's empty. It's like, there's nothing in here. That sucks.
There's a lot of empty drawers. That's what made that other part so cool. When chapter or like close to that part when we were talking about with the note is like you're going through like an area that's already been like gone over and there's like barely anything there, but I'm still searching. I'm looking at all like the environment so detailed 'cause like everything is like bare. The shelves are just open, like the cabinets are empty, but I'm like I'm still gonna look 'cause I need this one. It's like clearly you can tell this place has been picked bone dry, but you're still looking for supplies because you need them. I was like, man.
The way I saw it was like, yeah, some man's trash is another man's treasure. A rag may not seem like much, but it will help me here.
Oh, man. I don't know if I played anything else besides Last of Us. I probably did, but it's not really worth talking about, so whatever.
Yeah. Let's just talk about Microsoft. Because this news is crazy. I mean, who could have predicted that this would happen? I think, now the interesting thing is, why did it happen? And in case you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's they did a 180 on their online requirement in their DRM thing, and so suddenly the Xbox One is, as far as discs games, is exactly the same as the PS4 and, the PS3 and the 360.
Well, it seems... Well, I don't know if this was true, but I'd, read something about, an 8-to-1 pre-order margin. So I'm guessing, that's kind of why they had to do, because they're just getting beaten so much. Not just in that, but just the PR was just a nightmare of just so much negativity. They like you said, Chutical, they could not recover from this, and it just got worse and worse and worse to where we're at now. They had to go 180 and be like, you know what, we can't do this because this is killing us, literally. It is an anchor, and we're going to be just dragged into the bottomless abyss of nothingness if we don't get away from it or change it.
I mean, it's still $100 more expensive though than the PS4, so they're still gonna have to do something about that.
Yeah, there's still
but
issues.
You don't have that overcast cloud,
Yeah.
oh, you don't have this thing over your head. Now it's all sunshine, but over something different.
But I mean, it's not like it would be impossible for them to implement it later or something, would it? Because I mean, it's just
that would be terrible. Oh my god.
Because I mean, they can kind of once they're back in there, they can kind of just sneak it in. It's haha, that was just temporary. So fun story. Gonna need you to start checking in your console and stuff now. So
right.
Well, did you hear about this? There's a patch day one to make it offline, so it is all online before it ships to your house.
I know, that's the weird thing. Is it's basically the box is as it is until you patch it. So it's if you don't have an internet connection, you're still effed.
Yeah.
That is interesting. But no, going to what RPG was saying, that to me falls into the same camp as people who were saying, oh, Sony's going to do the same thing, and then when Sony announced that they weren't doing the same thing, then it persisted, and they were just oh, Sony is, they're not telling us all the facts. It was just I believe that saying that Microsoft will someday turn around and be haha, no, now that we've gotten you to buy our console, we're going to turn this thing on, so, haha. Yeah, the paranoid conspiracy camp, I think that is.
Yeah. For me, they just saw the reaction to Sony's press conference and are oh shit. And they saw the pre-order numbers. I know they just saw the pre-order numbers. And they're we're fucked.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
That is amazing.
Because why because announcing a week later from your E3 press conference, where if you said, oh, we listened to you guys, we are going to have no DRM press conference. Holy shit, okay, yay. But then that freaking blow to the head, Sony style, I think that killed them. Oh man.
I'm curious to see how much this closes the gap, though, because I mean,
I agree.
even after dropping this, if they still don't I guess if it's still a huge gap after the fact, then there might be deeper problems going on than just they're online all the time kind of thing and stuff, because there may have just not have been an impressive enough showing for people, and they're just like, you know what, it's not just the online stuff, maybe you just don't have any good games, Microsoft, and we're on to you now. So I don't know if this is going to be, I mean, this, I guess it's like a good start, but it may not be their cure-all that they're probably hoping it'll be. So
right, like I still don't think that the Xbox is going to ultimately win out, because, you know, as we've seen with the PS3, reviewers have a tendency to review against how much you have to pay, and so yeah, there is still that $100 price difference, and so, you know, come launch time, Xbox One games not only have to look better, they have to look $100 better, which, you know, that is really hard. I don't know, you know, you don't know what it is until you see it, and so, you know, think of that, and it's like, how do you design around that? We can't plan this design because we don't know what it is, but if we make it and we see it, then we'll be like, okay, yeah, we succeeded. That is $100 better than the PS4. And frankly, I don't think it's possible, because the PS4 is...
the games are pretty.
Well, yeah, it's like, it's a more powerful machine. And, you know, you can make the argument as like, well, PS3 was the more powerful machine, but, you know, lots of multi-platform stuff was better on Xbox. But I think it's different.
Arguably.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think the real difference maker is first parties, because they, you know, it goes back to the responsibility of the first party. Whoever is the console manufacturer, it is their responsibility to show people why they want the machine. And in this last generation, Sony has done a very good job of getting together a lot of game makers and game developers and studios to be that reason. Like, they are making games that show you, this is why this system is better than all the other ones. This is why you should buy this one. And the Xbox, yeah, they can throw money at developers right now, but they're just not going to be experienced. Or they're not going to be as experienced, you know, working together or working on the system. And, you know, then there's the thing about the architecture of the Xbox One is more complicated, and if they want to match the power of the PS4, they still have to, you know, rely on the cloud, apparently. And, you know, obviously that's going to be something new.
Well, that's a bunch of BS now, because now that you could play your Xbox games offline, like, are games going to be required to use the cloud now? It's like,
yeah, that's what I just watched a Address the Sis with Adam Sessler, and he was speculating that the next thing to you know, cut into that would be basically, if you don't have Xbox Live Gold, or even if you have Xbox Live Gold, if you don't have, if like the game takes advantage of the cloud system or whatever functionality, and you're not, you know, signing up to be online all the time to like have the functionality with that, then the game's just going to cut you out of the multiplayer or whatever features that cloud functionality gives you.
I have been disagreeing a lot with what he's been talking about recently. Yeah, I saw that a while ago, and it's just like, you know, nothing is stopping developers right now to develop online-only games. They sometimes do well. You know, World of Warcraft is an online-only game, and it's done well. The system doesn't have to require online, but if your game requires online, like, there's a huge distinction between that, where if you're saying the system has to be online, regardless of if the game's needed or not, you know, that's just a restriction that you're putting on people, and it just makes no sense. Whereas if you say, you know, we are making this online-only game because it requires these online features, that's different. Like, there's sort of every individual can go and weigh the benefits. Like, oh, you know, do I want this game because of all these features that they've shown me, which are only possible because it's connected to the internet. And it's I think it's sort of the same thing with Kinect too. I mean, he was talking about, the guarantee that Kinect is on every system enables developers to make Kinect features on their games. Like, well, that's crazy talk, especially now after, you know, the phenomenon which was Dance Dance Revolution and Guitar Hero. We know that if your game requires a specific peripheral, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to die just because not everyone has that peripheral. People will buy a peripheral just to play a game as long as the game is cool enough. And yeah, like at the time, it was those games. And like Wii Fit is kind of like that too. Like tons of people bought Wii Fit, but balance boards didn't go, they didn't come bundled with every single Wii. And so I think it's crazy to suggest that, we need everyone to have Kinect, and that's when we'll be willing to make good Kinect games. No, that's crazy. It's like you make a good Kinect game, and people will buy Kinects to play it.
Yeah, that's like another reason why people are dinging the whole $500 price. It's like, why can't they just unbundle it with Kinect and, give us a $400 SKU? Because I'd rather get that than the freaking $500 one.
Because they want to make it seem like Kinect is necessary, even if it's not. Because, I feel like they still want to kind of have it out there, so it's not just one of those peripherals that they released in response to the Wii that didn't take off how they wanted it to, and now they're like, well, it's still completely necessary, and we can still make great games for it and stuff like that. And they probably and I guess they may feel like if they got rid of it and just gave people like a cheaper bundle, then it'll feel like, well, what was the point of having it in the first place if you could have just.
I think that's the other crazy thing is that like there were no Kinect games at their conference. It's like they didn't even show like, with the new Kinect we could do this amazing thing and let's show it to you. It's like there's nothing there at that conference. I was like, this totally justifies it. So I was just so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was true. They were only showing how improved the tech was, but never the game implementation of the improved Kinect. Yeah, that's true.
It's just like everything has been backwards with the Xbox One. They assumed so much about people. The thing about it's like, if you don't have internet, then just buy an Xbox 360. It's like that's stupid. So you're assuming that people just want an Xbox and they don't care which one it is. Like
as long as they have one in their house.
And like the thing about it's like, this is so good because the online checks give you access to your library everywhere you go. And it's like, well, that assumes that everyone, everywhere you go, someone has an Xbox One. And
yeah,
so what you're saying is that in this world, everyone already has an Xbox One before they know why they want it.
Yes. And
then you get this benefit. It's like, that makes no sense.
Does that not sound sane to you? Is that not good logic? I don't understand the problem here.
To me, it's just funny because, like, even after this whole, like, backtracking on the DRM, it's like that wasn't really an issue for me because I didn't really care anyway. So it's like it doesn't really fix anything that was already like weighing against them for me. Sorry, Xbox One, you're still not there in my book. Sorry.
It's like you kind of just like, yeah, that's nice, but still keeping the PS4 pre-order going. But thanks though.
It actually does change it for me. Like Gamer was asking last week, will we ever buy an Xbox One? And last week I said no, never, because for some reason in the war on used games, loaning became a casualty, and it's like that is unacceptable. But now that loaning is not a casualty, it's like, well,
for now anyway.
Yeah, I'm still not going to buy one at launch. I'm not going to buy. It's weird. Like with the PS4, it's not even really the games. Like there's just some part of it on a system level that I really like, and it's like that's why I'm excited for PS4. Whereas the Xbox One, it's gonna have to be a game or several games that I think are really cool before I get it, and by then the price will be lower.
Until you're comfortable.
It's like
6 game threshold.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's like I learned my lesson this gen of just the multi-platforms. I can enjoy after the whole double dipping escapades I had so many times over this.
In some cases, triple dipping.
In some cases, triple dipping.
And the accidental fourth quadruple dipping.
Yeah.
Oh, Mass Effect 3Y. But after learning my lesson this time around, it's like, well, multi-platforms are basically the same no matter where you're playing them. So it's like I'm going to enjoy the experience. So it doesn't matter what platform it's on. So it's like now that my PC is awesome and I'm going to upgrade it anyway, I'll just put that on the forefront before I get a Xbox One, and then there's awesome third-party games. Just play them on PS4 until then, and then when there's a good stable of awesome exclusives, if the price is low enough, and I feel like it, maybe Xbox One. But like at this point, I'm not even like I'm like, I don't even care about the Wii U now. I'm so jaded. I'm just like, yeah, Nintendo, you're just, it's like
you're done.
After The Last of Us, dude, it's like M-rated awesomeness. Like that was never gonna happen. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I'm so over Nintendo. It's like whatever. We're like ex-girlfriend. We're over. I'm not talking about it. But PS4. Also, the whole like free to play and like there's a paywall and like Plus is so much better than Live now. It's like that's like killed it. It's like Plus has just been like so superior. That's like what Xbox Live Gold. What do you do for me? I'm not gonna like what.
They're gonna give you Halo 3 and Assassin's Creed 2.
2 games already have gamer.
One which you didn't like, so I mean, there's that too.
It's funny. It's like what's funny is like about that gold thing is like they announced stuff for 360, but they still haven't said are they gonna bring this exclusive thing to the One. It's like they keep saying, "Oh, we're thinking about the future," but they're not really.
I'm not going to tell you about it until it happens.
Yeah, what does Xbox Live Gold do for me on Xbox One? Nothing. It gives me 2 free games a month on 360, which I don't really need. And then, Plus is killing it month after month. So it's like, clearly, the winner here is Sony, and I'm going to go with this on this one. And I don't want to buy into two pay services on online gaming, which I shouldn't have to in the first place. So it's like, there's got to be a sacrifice here, and, sorry, Microsoft, but you're gonna have to take the hit. And Steam, PS4, that's where it's at. So sorry. Actually, it's funny because like Nintendo should like step in and be like, well, guys, if you want to play online, but they don't have the games. So
I just thought they have to have the games to do that.
Well, they had their chance. Now they don't have that chance anymore.
I know. It's like, their window evaporated. 2014. It's like, oh, we got 2014. It's like, dude, this year you're gonna die. When like everybody's all like, oh, PS4 and Xbox One. It's like the games that they got ain't even on Wii U, and it's like, oh, and then it just gets worse over time because like, is it on Wii U? No, is it coming to Wii U? Nope.
Games on the Wii U. So.
But we got Mario and Mario Kart. And, it's like, dude, it's over. Your time is done. Okay, it's like too many bad experiences, and that's why I had to dump you. So it's like I've moved on better things. Team
wonder
PlayStation.
if like some of their games can get ported now with the PS4 and its Vita functionality, and I guess the One and Smart Glass I guess works similar. But it's like I wonder if like with Nintendo's weaker showing, if people are just like, well, the new consoles can kind of do what it does, so we could just port some of these games over here and just leave Nintendo to just die in an alley somewhere. Hey, we'll just say we didn't see it, and you can't save it if you can't find it. So I don't know. This just might be bad news for them. And
I'm gonna enjoy watching Nintendo squirm the next couple of years. It's like, yep, I called it. Just.
So you don't think Nintendo will have a 3DS moment where they dig themselves out of a hole and like now they're like, okay, we're doing pretty well?
I don't know that they can. I mean, a price drop can only go so far now because if you're thinking about next gen, or if you're a gamer and you don't have a Wii U yet, and you're thinking about expenditures in the next 6 months, which is when a price drop would probably happen. Do you want to save $100 and buy a Wii U, and there are like a few games that you want to buy, or do you want to buy into this seemingly very viable ecosystem of actual next gen consoles and use it'll probably be like $200 to $250 you saved from not buying a price reduced Wii U and use that towards the next gen console?
Well, that's depending on whether or not you even go next gen route. Because I mean, I was making like a game list after E3 was over, and I was like, okay, with all the crap still coming out for this gen, it's like I don't even know if I would be able to afford a next gen console right now. So, because like I mean, even then, just on that, it's like the Wii U still wouldn't be just like it just wouldn't make sense to buy it now, regardless. It's like I mean.
It's funny because I almost pre-ordered my PS3 or PS4 when they had like the Watch Dogs bundle on Amazon. I was like, oh, I get a game, but then I was like, but I would get digital games. But I was like, well, I guess this could be the last physical one. But I was like, I kept going back and forth.
Wait, are you gonna go full digital with PS4?
Oh yeah.
Oh my,
That's the way.
crazy.
That's the way, gamer.
I'm still not- I'm still-
slap in a 2 terabyte hard drive and let's do this.
I'm still not on board with this whole all digital thing.
I know, man.
I'm just like,
If you
I
get
don't
a
know.
firmware upgrade and your hard drive is larger than 1
I know
terabyte.
that could have been that could have ended it, gamer. That like in some alternate timeline, I download that update and like all the stuff I've been downloading to my Slim is just like it's bricked and I can't even play it. I'm like I completely changed my stance. I'm like digital, F that crap, physical all the way, and like I completely go back to the way I was.
I'm just too paranoid to ever be like, yes, I can totally do this all digital thing, because I just always like in the back of my mind, well, what if something happens and now I lose everything? Then what? So I don't know.
I think it's just because Steam has been so good to me, and like I haven't had any negative experiences, so it's like I'm so comfortable with it, and I have so many games, and I never time to play them all. It's like,
Well, there was a poster on our Facebook group where it's like he downloaded Uncharted 3, but then like it added up. Like you see, it has 2D movies, 3D movies. You could download them separately.
It's like 90 gigs or something crazy.
Yeah,
or not 98.
Crazy amount of space. But now,
I haven't
hopefully,
downloaded it 'cause I need. I have
next.
to wait until next month so my bandwidth cap can reset on my ISP. So I'm waiting to download.
So do you have a bandwidth cap?
Yeah.
And you're willing to go digital? That's crazy.
Well, gamer, it's like moderation, dude.
One game a month.
Yeah.
We'll see how long that holds up.
Hey, it's 250 gigs. 250 gigs. That's a lot for a month.
Man, yeah. I know, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know, because, like, now that they removed this DRM thing, it's like, for me, they have 2 hurdles. Connect and indie support. Like, will they support these, small developers? Will they give them self-publishing rights? I don't know.
Oh, that's the other thing, is, like, it seemed like there's a lot of, anti-Xbox One from indie devs at E3 from, like, the interview that I was reading. It's like, oh, burn.
Well, now that they said the president, we could change anything we said at the conference and the interviews, they could change their stance, like, right now, like, next day, tomorrow even. It's like, we have self-publishing with indies.
Well,
that's
crazy
another
about
hurdle
the
to move.
situation is that Microsoft generally doesn't move so quickly. This must have been a disaster. Like, they were looking at the numbers and just like, wow, we're going to die. We can either pretend that we're going to be all right, that everyone on the internet is just negative because it's the internet, and no one is pre-ordering because they don't like pre-ordering, and they're just going to go and buy in droves on the day.
That's a bad idea, by the way.
Yeah, it's just like, it must have looked really bad on their end, and there's been a lot of issues. Yeah, including those two. It's also the TV focus. I mean, that is not free.
Man, yeah.
Someone had to spend money to develop those systems. Resources in the box. It's weird. Like, Xbox One is a dedicated game console that isn't dedicated to gaming. What? There's just so many other things, and they identified DRM. This is the thing that's killing us.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is like the paywall with Xbox Live as opposed to like with PSN is that like free to play does not exist on Xbox One because you cannot play free games without a gold subscription.
You can't do a lot of things without a gold subscription apparently on the 360 or
use
I'm
Netflix,
assuming the
or Amazon Instant Video.
I
thought
that was such a strange thing, because I'm like, I assumed that you were able to do those things at least. I just thought that the Xbox Live thing was mostly just for playing online and stuff. I didn't realize you couldn't just use like console features if you didn't have it at all. So I thought that was kind of sketchy to begin with. Just like, I could do this stuff on my PS3 without having a Plus subscription without a problem. So I don't understand what the issue is with Microsoft and not allowing you to do that kind of stuff.
It's basically as much as they can get away with.
Do you think they're gonna readjust those things so that they remove them from the paywall?
I think they might. Man, seeing this announcement, it was weird because I read it and I sat there and was like, is this a joke? Like, this isn't real, right? What day is today? I was like, wow, I think it's real. I could not believe it. So, my worldview on Microsoft is totally upside down now, and so like, anything can happen.
Because they were so adamant last week. Like, we are strong. We will hold our ground. We will, like what that Captain Kirby would say. We
hold the line.
We will hold our ground, and then the next week they caved. Something.
Like,
I think someone said it could have been related to what happened on Fallon this week or something.
Yeah.
Where he asked the question, "Oh, can you play used games?" And Mark Cerny said, "Oh yeah, you can." And then like Microsoft, they can't.
Yeah.
And that got an applause or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see
it
that.
means like we also don't require an online connection. They also it was like also another random applause. It's like, oh.
Well, it's just like, lots of people saw that, and not necessarily that many people saw E3. So, sort of this broader audience that everyone's talking about, the TV audience. Obviously, they watch Jimmy Fallon because he's on TV, and they don't watch.
I don't watch
E3
Jimmy Fallon
because it's not all on TV. I don't know. Yeah, I think gamers, right? It's always about money. So the pre-order thing, I think, is probably a big factor here. Because it's funny, like they announced, our pre-orders are all sold out at GameStop. So yeah, we're doing really well. And then, they announced this policy change, and part of the policy change post was, hey, we have more bundles for you to pre-order now. And it's like, really? That seems really sketchy. It seems like you were saying you were out, and then, seeing that you were totally not out. And then changing this policy and saying, okay, now will you pre-order our systems? Because we still have lots of them.
I think they did not want a Wii U situation on their hands. Where it's like, wow, we're like Nintendo's digging a grave, like for this system. It's like, man, seriously. And then like they don't want to see that happen to them, so it's like, oh man, we have to do something.
Well, there's really not much Nintendo can do at this point for them, but Microsoft might be able to still save face somehow.
Yeah, I think they can. Now that they've done that like U-turn in a week. Right?
Yeah.
For this part, yes, but like there's still those two hurdles. So it's like you have to get rid of those. Like take out Kinect. Why would you need Kinect? I have a microphone. Can't the Xbox do that speech manipulation crap?
No.
Nah.
Not without Kinect. Everything needs Kinect.
Yeah, there was like another article recently where he said, we are over-delivering value at $500. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's like, you don't understand what value is. Because value is how much I want a certain thing. And, your definition of value is, it is everything that we're giving you, whether you want it or not. So Kinect is part of that value. Being this voice-controlled remote control for your cable box is part of that value. NFL is part of that value. It's like, gamers, very generally, a person who plays games, if that's how we define gamers, they do not necessarily care and probably don't care about things that aren't games. So Kinect is not a game. NFL is not a game. TV is not a game.
It could be. With Kinect.
They were showing that Rabbids TV
you're welcome.
game.
Yeah,
Did you see that bullshit?
That was like...
That was
really?
weird.
They're just not marketing it right. I could fix that for them. I won't, but I could if I wanted to.
So I want to hear from Tekken. He said he was reading comments. The Xbox defense people, or as I've been calling them, the Xbox immortals, because they're no longer just die hard. You just can't kill them. Are, I don't know, what are they saying?
Oh, it was just there's just like one I can't remember chapter call. It's not in front of me anymore. It was just the stupid dumb stuff of like how it's always on the internet, and it's so weird just because it's like it just happened, and then like it seems like the tone has just immediately changed of like, all right, Xbox One is back. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? Of like, or just to like see these people come out of the woodwork of like, oh well, I always liked the Xbox One, and to see that the features that they had were stripped away, I'm so disappointed now. I was like, are you insane? Are you insane? What the F?
It was really crazy because I remember on that Monday, people There was a lot of people who support Xbox on my Twitter feed, and they were just like, "Oh, see, they showed the games. Ha! Shut up, internet. You all suck." And it was just like, "Yeah,
That's
Xbox
weird because
all the way. Got my
Twitter feed was
pre-order."
like the opposite. So I
Yeah,
don't know if we're following like the same
strange.
people.
Like, that's so weird that I'm following people who I don't agree with at all on this matter. And it's like, huh, how did I end up following them in the first place? But anyway, yeah, that's what it was, like all day, and through the noon section when the reports online were all like, oh well, they didn't talk about this thing, and they didn't talk about online or the used games or any of that, and then it became sort of not Xbox One is awesome, but it was like Xbox One is not bad. And then by the time Sony did their thing, my Twitter feed just went silent, and there was no talking.
Like,
and then
everybody?
Since then it's all been, very few people were saying Xbox One is really good. People were just saying, oh, it's at least it's innovative, or it's not as bad as you think, or I have internet, so I don't care.
Yeah, it's like they also cherry pick the stuff to like what they are going to cling to. It's like this comment on Kotaku is like, but they didn't change DRM. By ditching the DRM, the Xbox One lost its greatest feature, the family plan. It was the only thing on Xbox I was looking forward to. Now it's gone. I guess I'm going PS4 for sure now.
Oh, my way to exploit the system is gone now.
Wait, what was the family plan?
So good.
It was game sharing, basically.
You can't just give somebody your game? Is that...
No, it was like you would have this sort of shared online library.
Yeah.
So all of your games that you bought and had online, they were all online. Remember, everyone in your family, up to 10 people, could share access to those games.
Oh.
That's the thing I was talking about earlier. Is like I posted in one of the comments, was like, okay, so let me ask you this then: how confident are you that 10 of your friends and family will have Xbox Ones? Because in the world where it's convenient, like Steam is convenient because everyone has a computer and you can go everywhere and log into Steam and like download your games there. But not everyone is going to have an Xbox One, unless you think everyone's going to have an Xbox One, even though they haven't shown us why we would want an Xbox One yet. And the responses were just like, this is a stupid argument. Like, is it? Is it though? How many of your relatives have 360s right now?
I think I'm like the only gamer in my family, so there's not even a question that'll work. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like here's another one. Hope the complainers are happy. You wanted an Xbox 360 too, and you got one. I myself was looking forward to a new idea of console gaming system, but oh well.
What does it even mean? It's still the same system. What the hell?
And then 2 comments below, someone's like, right on the money. My biggest complaint with the PS4's features were that they seem like it's half step up from the PS3 and were nothing really exciting. Games aside, of course. Now the same can be said for Xbox One.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you?
So dumb.
So he's saying like outside of the games that... Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's innovation in gaming. What is that? Combining it with TV. Yeah. Innovation in gaming. Oh, what is it? It's a camera that recognizes your movements.
And can watch you while you sleep.
And does the thing that the prior one was supposed to do. So that's innovation. When it works, it's innovation.
And the jury's still out on whether it works or not, because no one actually has one yet. So,
like from what I've been hearing, is like Xbox Cloud is just another term for dedicated servers.
Exactly.
That's it. Because it seems like that's we're based on the 300,000 servers, whatever that stupid number was, but it's like any person could have a dedicated server to them. None of this peer-to-peer stuff. But it's like, as I'm playing Last of Us multiplayer, it's like, it's fine. It's like,
yeah.
Why would I want a dedicated server for this if it plays just fine right now?
Their selling point was something like, there is no host advantage. And it's just like, how many people complain about host advantage?
There's a man.
It's again solving a problem that no one has. And if you're that hardcore,
Well, some people complain.
yeah, but it's not like a.
Well, there's always going to be somebody. It's not like.
Plus, host advantage only has an advantage for one guy, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the cloud thing is okay. Yeah, I think at best the cloud is a crutch for a system that just isn't powerful enough. It's what that's what they're talking about. Every time someone says the PS4 is more powerful, someone brings up the cloud. And it's like, so what you're saying is it's true. The Xbox One isn't as powerful. It requires this other thing to be as powerful. And, I guess that's a common thread through all Xbox stuff. The 360, they market it as being a media device. And, you can watch Netflix and all these things. But you need something extra to be able to do all that stuff. And, the Xbox One is... this is the one I guess they can't get away with. Because if you think about it, the Xbox One does have backwards compatibility. And it can do everything because it has an HDMI port in. So anything you can plug into HDMI, the Xbox One can do.
I mean, technically, you can plug your PS4 into it, couldn't you? Wouldn't that kind of defeat the purpose? I don't know.
So it's like either all of those arguments are bogus, or the Xbox One can play PS4 games.
But wait, because you said in terms, when you say the PS4 is more powerful, you mean in terms of what exactly? Because... I mean, I don't follow this stuff 100%, but apparently it is because the Xbox One was designed with sort of TV in mind. They had to make certain concessions to make sure that by the time the thing was supposed to launch, they would have enough parts to make that possible. And the PS4, because it didn't have that concern. At one point, and this is about memory, it's just like there was less memory in the PS4 than the Xbox One because it didn't, it doesn't really need that much memory. And need is a weird thing in games, but they felt like, okay, PCs have 4 gigs, that's going to be a lot, but developers really wanted 8 gigs, and with the PS4, that wasn't a certainty until. From reports, it was like this year that it became 8 gigs of memory in the system. Whereas the Xbox One, they needed to have a lot of memory because they wanted to do all this multimedia stuff and be able to run things simultaneously. So it was like, okay, we have to have 8 gigs. What kind of 8 gigs can we get? And, 100% certain we will have 8 gigs when this thing launches. And they had to choose, a slower type of memory. And to compensate for that, they had to do other things to the main chips, which made those weaker. So basically, in the end, the theoretical power PS4 has a lot more processing power than the Xbox One. Mm-hmm.
And, people often cite, the defenders, the Xbox Immortals, they often cite, well, PS3 was supposed to be more powerful, and that didn't really play out. I would say this time is pretty different because when the PS3 started, Sony did not have the first party stable that they have now. And it's those guys, it's their responsibility to show off what the system can do. And, we've seen Uncharted. We've seen The Last of Us. Some of those guys are really good at that job.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, I had a 360 first last gen and a PS3 second, and like Tropical has prophesized, I love my PS3. I like my Xbox 360, it's okay, but I love my PS3, and, first party, killing it, as opposed to 360, fart in the wind.
Yeah, because I actually no longer own my 360, so there is that, so...
There's a lot of great exclusives on Xbox Live Arcade and things of those natures that were not developed by Microsoft Game Studios. But first-party stuff that I'm just like, oh, this is so awesome, I can only get it on 360 by 360 developers, not so much.
RPG, did you ever buy any Xbox Live Arcade games?
I did not, because I think that required me to do things I didn't want to do. So yeah.
I think that's keeping me.
Ew, it's digital.
That's keeping me from selling mine, like because I have that library of Xbox Live Arcade games. Like, that's keeping me from selling that system.
Because I would look on there sometimes, but then I was just like, what's the point? I mean, I barely used my 360 anyway, so I was like, I could go into their store and play around with their credits or whatever the hell they were doing for Microsoft points, not credits. But and I was like, you know what, this is too much of a hassle, and I don't have a live subscription or anything. So it's like, you know what, there's no point in all of this. I just use it to play the games I wanted to play, and now I'm kind of done with it. So it's like, what was even? It just didn't have distinct like. If the decision came down to whether to get rid of my PS3 or my 360, I wouldn't hesitate to just like throw my 360 out the window or something. It's just like I'm not gonna. It's like I feel like the PS3 was like it's more value to me than my 360 was. So I didn't. It wasn't like a heart-wrenching decision or anything. It was like whatever. It's just 360.
So wait, did you trade it in, right?
No, I sold it to somebody.
Oh. Okay.
He got real money.
Yes. And it was before they price dropped it too, so I was able to get away like a bandit.
Like their console exclusives, they had like what Dust, and now they have State of Decay, but it's just now coming on PC. Dust is now on PC. A ton of their console exclusives are on PC, on Steam specifically. See, that's why would you want
to PC.
Yeah. At this point.
And I can actually play some Steam games now, so I don't know.
Oh, can you?
Because I mean, I was
payday, come out.
Oh, okay, yeah, RPG, I can like gift you some games.
I was like,
all right,
I was able to run like.
That you've ascended to the realm of PC gamerdom.
I mean, I don't know. I was like able to run like Mass Effect 3 and like the Last Remnant on here, and I was like, okay, so it's like it can at least function. Because I mean, before I couldn't even download them on my last laptop, so it's just like, okay, so clearly I can't game on that PC, but it's like I can actually use them now. So sweet. A bit better. Which means I really.
Yeah, I think the bigger problem I'll have next gen is like what to buy on PC and what to buy on PS4. But
true.
Just double dip. You do it anyway.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Well, you know. I like trophies.
Since I don't get physical copies anymore, I don't get like the sweet pre-order bonuses of like, oh, check out this T-shirt or this Cassandra. It's like whatever. I'm so over it.
I love pre-order bonuses, except for when there's like different ones for different places. That I don't like.
Yeah, that kind of burned me out, and I was like, you know what, F this crap.
I think everybody should just be able to get it as long as they pre-order it. You shouldn't be all. Only if you get it from Amazon, or only if you, because I mean nobody's gonna try to get all three, and then you're trying to sell them stuff. It's like, you know what, just give it to everybody. They're trying to support you. Be nice enough to support them too. So
I don't like those like it's a limited edition first day or something, and then like 3 months later, limited edition upgrade. $2.
Pre-order bonuses are a lie. That cake is a lie.
Although,
I've ate it all the time, and all it does is lie to me.
I think the limited edition ones though, isn't it just like for launch copies? Not necessarily if you pre-order it so much as if you're able to get one of the early copies of. Because I know like Atlas and stuff, they usually do stuff like that where they just give everybody, just like if you can get a copy of it, you get a free upgrade or whatever. So, but just my only thing now is like, because now that PlayStation Plus is required for like online play, I'm still debating on like whether or not I guess it like depends on how much or how many games like have a multiplayer. I feel like are worth the trouble or whatnot.
Yeah,
but
because it turns out the share stuff is not PlayStation Plus exclusive, so that will actually be available to everyone.
Yeah, so it's like you can still use other features, like but I mean, at the same time though, I guess since you could still have Plus for the PS3 as well, so it's not like the Plus would be just like PlayStation 4 exclusive, so I still could get some benefit out of it.
Is that confirmed, Tropical?
That the social stuff is outside of PlayStation Plus? I think so.
Okay. I wonder, because like that would be another up on PS4 over Xbox One, where they have
still use the
Twitch
features
streaming.
without it.
Yeah, it's on their. Well, they didn't say if Twitch streaming is on their paywall, but I think it would be.
Come on, gamer.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because they did say partnership, which equates to money. But since times are changing,
Mm-hmm.
they could say.
Yeah, for now anyway.
See, that's the weird thing I'm thinking about. Is like, what if like Microsoft is going to become more like Sony and start listening to us and be like, oh, you know what? You want it? We'll listen to you.
Well, they need totally.
They're going to have
different
to eventually.
execs then, because their execs are just very awkward and very.
Yeah, robotic duty.
Yeah, it's just like this is. We're talking to people who are not our generation, who don't understand us, and they're trying to convince us that things are cool, and it never feels. Like, it's cool to listen to developers talk about their games because they're excited about their games, whereas it never feels like the people at Xbox are excited about Xbox beyond the fact that we're going to give them money. Yeah.
Oh, that's how the Titanfall guys sounded. Like, we couldn't do this without Microsoft.
Yeah, it's like, really?
You mean you couldn't do it without money? That's what you're talking about.
We couldn't do it without the millions of dollars they just handed us backstage.
It's going to be interesting. Like, the Xbox Immortals are like, oh, the cloud is such innovation, and that's the future of games, and now it's going to be
what
gone.
What is the cloud anyway? Is it like
the cloud? Is the internet.
Oh, then why is that considered innovative?
I don't know. People like the cloud now, but it'll be interesting to see when Titanfall comes out on the PS4. It's like, well, it runs perfectly fine. And,
well, it runs on PC, so that's going to be the straw, right? It's going to be on PC. It's like, so do I don't really need the cloud for PC, so what am I going to... Because they said they were talking with Giant Bomb. They're like, on PC we have to tweak all this stuff, but it's like I won't use the cloud. I mean, that's like the main draw of having them one.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
It's going to be using matchmaking,
peer-to-peer. On Xbox 360, there's no cloud. And they're not even working on that version of the game.
Well, it's funny because they were talking about, it's only possible on the cloud because the cloud does all of those AI characters running around. It does their AI.
Oh yeah, when you're a bot match or something, it's like.
Well, no, like because there's always bots running around in Titanfall.
Is there?
That's the selling point of the game is that there's no single player because the single player and multiplayer are one.
Yeah.
So you have these giant battles where you're running out and there's a whole bunch of AI guys running with you and, AI stuff is happening all over the place, but you're also fighting other people. And that's why Titanfall is cool. But it's just like, yeah, so what happens in the PC version when there is no cloud and it still works? And, it just... I don't think they're fooling many people. They're fooling the people who want to be fooled because they talked about Titanfall and they're like, oh, so originally we were targeting current generation consoles and then we realized they weren't powerful enough. And then we went out and talked to, Microsoft and the Xbox thing and it's like, oh, the cloud thing, that will enable this game. And it's like, does that make any sense? I mean, basically you just said there's not enough power. Is the cloud that powerful? Not really, not in a general sense. So eventually when we have enough power, and like that's why I'm saying it's going to be interesting, like when it comes out on the PS4, and I'm like 90% sure it'll come out on the PS4 in a year or two, and it's not running on the cloud, then it's just sort of like, okay, so what is this saying? Is this definitive proof that the Xbox One is not as powerful and the Immortals can just, I don't know, they don't die.
They can just die.
Go into exile.
Well, they can enjoy their rise, so.
Yes, they can enjoy their rise.
I'm still not really, understanding the whole cloud concept, though, because it doesn't sound like...
It's just servers doing the work for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's supposed to be offloading, but it's like, these consoles are wickedly powerful. They should be doing everything.
Well, that's what I guess that's the part that I'm not really understanding, because my assumption is that the consoles would be powerful enough to handle this kind of stuff, so why, I don't know.
Yeah, the marketing story that they're perpetuating now is that the console is powerful, but it is way more powerful with the cloud. So the PS4 can be it can just something derogative about the PS4. I can't think of it.
It's like steroids for your console.
But does it really count as more powerful if they're kind of just using something else to do the work?
Again, like that's how Xbox marketing works. It's like 60 is a Netflix box. Like, oh, but you have to buy this thing. Xbox One is super powerful. It's the most powerful. Oh, but you need to have this thing. It's like everything about Xbox is like that.
I'm not buying it or the console.
Yeah, even if they announce subsidized prices, like, look, Xbox One is cheaper than PS. Oh, but you gotta pay.
You need this thing. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't announce it. Is like after the backlash, it's like these gamers are too savvy for this. Our PR is not going to work. We need to spin this. What do we do? PR team, get on it. We're more powerful. We have a cloud. Yeah.
Man.
This is my first rodeo. I remember back when Sony was all like, we don't need Rumble in our controllers, and they totally put it in.
Yeah. It was the same situation.
Yep.
But the only thing in there back then was that it was a legal thing that they were going through.
It's like, we don't want to
not
pay
legal. This was just freaking stupidity. It's like, come on, guys, come on. I really wish they would have said something. They would have said this at the conference. Like it would have. It would have lessened Sony's blow so much.
It would have been totally different. I actually think in that case,
it's kind of like it was a waste.
Better show.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they wasted everyone's time. We've been talking about this stuff for a week.
It's overshadowed everything they've said since May.
Yeah.
So much that
because they got the negative reaction when they released the policy thing the week before, right?
Nope.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like it has been building even since like the rumor phase because they would not deny it. There was no denying it. There's no like damage control. They were not doing any damage control. Then like the whole Twitter thing when they fired that dude, it's like they would not come out and say anything. And they let this go on for so long. And they had the unveiling. And then it's like there's no games at all. And it's like, okay, well here's all the DRM. And it's like, what the F is this? And like it just kept going on and on and on. It has overshadowed it like ever since like, we have the ethereal vapors of the fumes of the smell of this has just been out. It's like they've never like had got in front of it and like taken control of the issue.
I guess they should have announced pre-orders earlier. Wow. It's fantastic. I do think, Microsoft, they would have had the better show because the Sony one sort of dragged, and I think it was because people wanted certain things and they didn't show any of those things. They didn't show really a lot of new stuff. And it was just like there was two exciting moments. The indie thing and this DRM thing. And if that hadn't, if they had lost that one, then it was just the indie part. And then it was 2 hours with this little indie part in the middle that was exciting. And really Microsoft was like, it was just a lot more...
Check out these awesome multi-platform games. Yeah.
it was quicker paced, at least.
Yeah, because it just seemed like...
Oh, it was also all games, too, even though it was, like, mostly trailers, so... That was my one thing gripe about this E3, is, like, there was no, like, demos like there usually are. It was, like, mostly trailers and barely any demos. Except the very end, when we show you Titanfall or Destiny. To close out the show.
You gotta say, man, looking
like
at
closing out the show and, like, with Call of Duty, because it's the same studio, isn't it, that used to do it? I told you, it's like their go-to thing for everything. It's always...
Call of Duty blew their load like that Sunday, so it's like they wouldn't show the same thing again, would they? No.
They might have.
No.
You give them too much credit.
They would show it
credit than I would anyway.
In the same.
And plus, man, that dog scene is stupid. How does a dog break through a freaking door?
Because dogs can do that, gamer. They weigh a lot.
But Titanfall, it was like that was one of the one defenses for Xbox One. Was like, have you seen Titanfall? Have you seen Titanfall? That was awesome, wasn't it? Yes, it was. It was awesome. I'm going to get it on my PC.
Kind of exclusive, but not. Yeah, I know, it's like kind of exclusive, but not.
Sure, it's going to be Origin. Like, I have no friends on Origin except for
gamers saying that. Now it's like, no, I'm not going to
But people are saying because it's an EA Partners game, it could have release on Steam.
F Origin.
But yeah.
I didn't know that was still a thing.
That was a thing. But now there's this, Xbox One, seriously. Why can't they just remove Kinect? I don't understand that.
Once
Yeah,
again, they wouldn't be able to shove it down your throat if they don't.
I'm not gonna be playing Fantasia because I saw that demo. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be playing this.
Oh, yeah, I saw that video after Tropical was talking about it, and I was like, why?
I'm not gonna be hand dancing.
I was like, why?
Hand dancing?
When I heard the concept stuff, like, oh, this sounds kind of cool, and then I actually saw it, and I was like, wait, what?
It is Child of Eden like.
Yeah.
But like the hand dancing is like, what is this like hippie shit? Like, what the fuck?
Are you not into hand dancing? Is that not jiving all over the place?
No, if it was like I could do any hand motions and it would be changing the music, but it's like it's scripted stuff like what you're doing. Like sometimes you could change the waves and shit. Oh god, that was a terrible demo. I didn't like it.
Yeah. It's not Pixel Junk 4am. It's
not
like
it's not. That was one of the
yeah,
those are things I was like looking at. It's like, oh, this really looks like Pixel Junk 4am.
It's like there was no Mickey in this at all. It's all a lie. So yeah, that lost me. They lied to me.
So yeah, I do think that it will be. I don't know if this is going to matter in the launch. Actually, I think there was a lot of people who were. Well, from the looks of it, it seemed like there was just people who really wanted Xbox, but didn't agree with this, and they were just like, "Well, I'm an Xbox loyalist. I'm just going to go to PC." And some of those people are now going to go to Xbox One, but I don't think a lot of the PS4 pre-order people are automatically going to jump back to Xbox One now.
I think they are. I think it's where your friends lie. I think it's where your friends lie. If your friends are going to be jumping on Xbox One, of course that's where you're going to jump to.
But if they've already pre-ordered PS4, doesn't that mean all of their friends have also jumped with it?
Probably already.
The PS4 already?
They're going to jump back.
But why? If everybody, I think like Tropical saying, if like everybody's already
No, because if this was their deal breaker. Now that it's gone, like, oh, we could jump back in the other pool. Like that Simpsons. It's sort of like that Simpsons episode where like Lisa had a pool, everyone's in that pool, PS4, yay! And they're like, oh, Martin has a bigger pool, so let's go back because Microsoft has the money, But then it's gonna blow.
It depends on whether or not they feel like that was a big enough change for them to want an Xbox One, though, because I mean, you're just assuming that that was their breaking point. If there was
the thing,
it's like because I mean, there's a good chance that people might have added to it, but that doesn't mean that it's like, well, PS4 had a lot of other stuff going on for it that they wanted, so it's like that could have just been it.
Man, the Xbox One has just been waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like the reveal, and it's like, oh, that sucks. It's like, we'll wait until E3. And then we wait until E3, it's like, wow, still not really good news here. It's like, wait until Gamescom. And it's like, oh, we didn't have to wait that long. Here's some good news.
I love this analogy where it's like, Microsoft was about to fuck you in the ass, and like they stopped, and then you're like, okay, I'm okay with it. But you're about to get fucked in the ass. Why would you want to go with them? I saw the analogy on Twitter. I was like, wow, that's a great analogy.
That is strange. I'm not sure that. Huh.
No, because like, so by going back years, you're willing to, bend over. Like,
I guess, but I mean, the implications there are a bit, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to respond to that.
It's not my joke. I saw it on Twitter. I was like, it's a great analogy.
I understand. I just
No, because they showed their cards. Like no, I think it was like you saw them cheating. Like you called them on it, and like okay, but then would you still want to play with that cheater? It's like,
well, if they're on your team, you might. Because I mean, if you have, if they're a cheater, it's bad. But if they're cheating for your team, then you can kind of overlook it.
Oh yeah, that's true, right?
It's like, well, they're technically still helping us, so I mean, I'm kind of okay with this.
really funny.
Well, they have what? They already had 1 week, so a couple more weeks, we'll see something else from them. Just showing this, like,
They're just gonna watch the pre-order numbers, like, they're not really moving. What else were people not happy about?
sell this.
That thing.
Connect. We're not requiring Connect. $100 off.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That might do it.
That would level it significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say, personal taste in games and stuff, and there are people talking about, oh my gosh, Rise looks so awesome. Like, really? is my response. But yeah, whatever. But there's still the $100. There's still the fact that this is a dedicated console that isn't dedicated to gaming. So many other things, but if Rise is enough for you, okay.
I mean, I did think Project Spark was kind of cool. I'm not going to buy an Xbox One for it.
It's also on PC.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, there you go. I don't have to worry about that, because that was my only concern. It's like, I might miss out on that, but now...
It's funny, most people who are going out and publicly saying, I'm pre-ordering Xbox One, they're very careful to only choose exclusives to talk about. It's like, oh, yeah.
So basically just Halo?
And, Titanfall, and Forza. Or lots of them have been Forza and Project Spark. Like,
but you said that's coming to PC now, though, so, I mean, it's not...
Well, they don't include those.
Oh.
Man, no love for Killer Instinct, huh?
Very little.
I think, because I heard the news about, like, it being launched with, like, one character or something, but you had to, like, pay for all the other ones.
That was already,
Did they already...
That's just one of the ways you can get the game. You can get the game at retail, so...
Because that might have turned people off when they initially heard that, because they probably assumed, like, okay, this if I have to get this... I mean, yeah, it's great that it's free to play, but if I have to end up buying all these characters and it costs more than the game would have just cost if, it just came complete, then why is this a thing? So
I think the mentions of Killer Instinct I saw included, well, these guys haven't made a fighting game in 20 years, and it looks kind of cool, but I'm getting a PS4. I think we should have ended with gamers' analogies. That was great.
What's awkward is what that
or
was.
Gamers quoted analogies. That was fun.
So yeah, I guess we're done. We can wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
When is the reboot coming?
I guess next week.
Yeah. Yes.
You get to see the title next week. It's gonna be so cool. I like it.
Oh, did you already make it?
No.
Like
Tekken came up with a title that we won't reveal here to the audience, but it is.
Oh, but now I want to know what it is.
So yeah, wait for that. That'll be on aimlesspodcast.com and on our Facebook and YouTube and iTunes and all those places that people go.
Except TV, so you don't need to connect to see us.
Gamer RPG, any signing off stuff to say?
I do not.
Do you have a newly minted suck list after E3?
Well, if I did, there'd only be one person on it. Hey. I'll just I'll just not shoot that dead horse anymore for now. I'll just let them have their moment to kind of stew in their own failure. I'm talking about Microsoft, by the way, just in case anybody missed that. You're all welcome.
Gamer?
Watch me on Twitch. I'll be doing a Survivor run.
Don't watch him. Gamer's a terrible gamer. I watched his Twitch feed before.
Hey, I was doing pretty well now, remember me.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Because I saw the many a times you started over, and I was just like, oh my god, gamer, you are awful.
I was playing on hard.
Were you, gamer? Was that your excuse? Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, play The Last of Us multiplayer with us. It's fun.
More people. Because, man,
All right.
more merrier.
Game is
So
awesome.
that's it for this. Oh. So that's it for this episode. Feel free to leave any comments or what have you wherever you hear this, and leave us feedback. 'Cause we always like that. And like Choptic said, check us out where you find us on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, blah blah blah. So yeah, F the haters, and until next episode, we're gonna transform and roll out like Optimus Prime, back on the outside but not on the inside, or out about on the inside.
Seriously?
Yeah. Until you see or hear from us again, we're now signing off.